Hey everybody, it's Kyle and Kevin. We're talking weather today on how to be a Texan. You excited about that?
I'm thrilled.
How's the weather today, Kevin?
It's amazing.
It is? It is. Blue skies.
Yeah.
Shining in me.
It is.
skies.
Nice and sunny. Getting a lot of vitamin D.
Oh, no, that wasn't Willie's song. You remember that song?
No, I didn't even hear that.
I started quoting it and you're talking about vitamin D. I promise Willie.
No,
Willie wasn't talking about vitamin D.
That was the last verse. That's the verse he only sings at live shows.
Blue sky shining in me, nothing but
Create more vitamin D.
He does not sing that.
Have you ever seen him live?
Well, yes.
No, you haven't.
No, I haven't.
Andrew's seen him live.
You know,
I was disappointed.
You know, he's still with us.
He was disappointed in the sound mix, not in Willie.
Oh, you couldn't hear him?
It was at a big festival, and I could only hear vocals, his guitar, and then the harmonica was there. And
well,
he does a lot of like noodling and stuff on his guitar.
Yeah.
And so I couldn't hear bass line or drums, and so it just sounded like weird noodle, like avant-garde noodling while he was singing over it. And
Willie. You got to love Willie Nelson.
I love Willie Nelson.
pretty bummed out.
So all right, Kevin. So we're talking about the weather in Texas today. You know, people love talking about the weather, don't they?
They do.
And we said in one of our prior conversations, we said there's an old saying out there. What did we say it was?
Don't like the weather, just wait 10 minutes and it'll change.
That's right. And it does, doesn't it?
And that's why it's a good topic to talk about, because we could talk about it again in 10 minutes and it'll be a completely different discussion.
Well, let's do that. Let's waste 10 minutes of people's time, and then we'll talk some more about it. So, all right, well, let's start off. Well, what kind of weather phenomena have you seen here in Texas?
Everything except for nice, fluffy snow. We don't get that. I've experienced that in other states, but we get everything.
Well, again, remember, Texas is gigantic. We have plenty of snow. It's just not here. So up in Amarillo and the northern panhandle, we have a ton. Out in West Texas, even El Paso gets a lot of snow. Mm-hmm. But what's the real scary kind of weather that we get here? What comes to mind?
Tornadoes
Tornadoes.
will kill you.
Yes.
And gigantic hail the size of your head
Yes.
will kill you.
What came through earlier this year down in South Texas, though? A hurricane.
Hurricane. Yep.
Yeah. Not just kind of a one that just sat over Houston for 5 days.
That's Texas-sized hurricane.
It was terrible, terrible. And then you go out west, you know, have you ever seen a sandstorm?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I have.
Yeah.
That's scary.
It is. It's like a red, just kind of a wall. It reminds me of that movie, The Mummy. Did you ever see that movie, The Mummy?
No.
It wasn't that good, but you don't need to go back and rewatch it. But there was a big sandstorm that came up, and it kind of followed them, and then this mummy kind of came out anyway. If anybody saw it, you know what I'm talking about.
Serious ice storms.
We do
Here.
and then we get earthquakes.
Yes, and more recently in the Dallas area.
You know what caused it? It's all that fracking.
I wasn't going to even go there.
It's all that fracking. That's a real thing. That's a real term, fracking.
Oh, I know what fracking is.
It's going under the ground, punching holes in the substrata. I don't even know if that's a word.
It's fantastic technology.
And it's causing the tectonic plates to bang against each other.
Some people say.
Well, what are you, like part of the oil regime or something?
I don't know.
I'm saying it right now. I think it's part of it.
Could be.
They
All I know is that I never experienced an earthquake or even thought of an earthquake in my entire life. And then over the past, what has it been, 3-4 years maybe?
Oh, more than that.
Suddenly, well, when did they start? 5-6 years ago?
Oh, good 10, 15 years ago.
Well, it was
started.
right after the fracking started, and fracking hasn't been around as a technology for very long, maybe a decade.
No. So, all right. So let's talk about. So we have. So our weather here is generally temperate, though, right? So we have, beautiful weather. My favorite months, for example, are April and October. Those are my favorite months of the year. Amy and I got married in October, and I just anxiously await April because it's just beautiful here.
Kendra and I got married in April.
Yeah. See?
We had Andrew in April. Not the same April.
Oh,
There's a few years in between.
That would have made it interesting. But regardless, yeah, April and actually May is quite nice. March, it comes in like whenever a lion goes out like a sheep. No, it's the other one, right? Something like that.
I don't know.
Well, I was born in March, so
April
it should be
flowers,
meaningful.
spring May flowers.
No, that's not it. Something about it's windy in March, and so it's not that great.
Well, people always talk about the heat.
Well, yeah.
People will talk about, oh, how can you live in Texas? It's so hot. I'm like, well, yeah, it's hot for 3 months, but 6 months out of the year, it's phenomenal.
That's right.
Spring and fall are the best.
Because even June's not that bad,
June's
right?
not bad.
I mean, it starts to get sporty hot in June. And then July, August, and first part of September, just like you're living in an oven.
Did y'all ever have cars with the old vinyl seat covers on them?
Yeah. Yeah.
So like not actual leather, but vinyl. It looked like leather, but it was made from vinyl.
Yeah, it'd take your skin off.
It would take your skin off. We had to sit on towels during the summer.
Oh, yeah.
Growing up.
Oh, yeah.
That stuff was so hot.
Yeah. So, and again, I know it's not Arizona or one time I took Dad out to Vegas, and we were out there, and he'd sit there on the poker tables all day, and so I just go walk around because I ran out of money in 10 minutes, and I'd go walking on the Strip, and I got down there one time, and the Strip was 126 degrees. You believe that?
Yeah. And what's rough for me anyway, when I go to Arizona or Nevada like that, is at least here when it's hot. I mean, it'll get 110 here. But you can get in the shade, and generally the air is still kind of somewhat cool. You can get a cool breeze. There's noise. You can get a cool breeze. But there, the wind is like you're standing in front of a hairdryer, like a hot air dryer.
Right. Yeah.
And that adds to the agony. For me, anyway.
No.
I really notice that when I'm out in Arizona or Nevada during the summer compared to here.
Well, I went out there one time, kind of a story of how dumb I am. We had a funeral here, and this was, I was probably 30 or so, and somehow I had a business trip out to Phoenix in the middle of the summer, but we had a funeral here of somebody, and I wore a dark blue suit, okay? But I had to get immediately from that funeral. I went and jumped on a Southwest plane, flew out to Phoenix, and then I went out there and met with a bunch of orthopedic surgeons that afternoon in a blue suit, and it was probably 115 degrees.
That's brutal.
And so I got out there, and they just thought I was the dumbest thing ever.
Do you ever wear a suit other than for weddings or funerals anymore?
Oh, I like a suit. I look dashing in
Well,
a suit.
I look great in it too, but I have
kidding.
no need. I have no need for it other than a wedding or a funeral.
No, I'm wearing one tomorrow. I got meetings tomorrow, and it's old school where I'm going. So I got
really?
a suit. Yeah.
Where's that at?
Downtown. So.
Downtown.
Yeah, with the Baylor.
Dallas or?
Oh yeah, in Dallas.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't ever wear a suit.
No.
In fact, I've even gotten to where I feel even wearing, in Silicon Valley, even wearing slacks and what we would call business casual here seems overdressed a lot. It's just 100% jeans now.
Yeah. No, there's still
where I'm at.
There's still pockets.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, if you go back to New York or in the financial sector, they're still old school.
Fine. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You definitely go to Wall Street and
But I've got, I have some conservative folks that I work with, and you're still expected to wear this suit no matter what the weather. So you need to throw the tie on. And I think those are days that are going by.
When I first started my very first real job, I mean, I had, kind of jobs growing up or whatever, but my first, legit job, I was working for a consulting firm in Dallas I was an application developer, right? And that was this was early 90s, so that was back, you still wore suits back then.
Oh, yeah.
First day on the job, go in, I got my suit on, and my zipper breaks on my pants.
Oh, it broke, or you
It
left
broke.
it down?
No, it broke.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't zip my pants up.
That's not good.
I'm like, what's going on? I was, 21, 22 years old. I'm very introverted, very shy.
Sure.
And I'm like, I can't tell these people that
Anybody notice?
my zipper's broken. I carried a file in my hand all day.
Just over your stuff?
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
casually.
Yeah.
I grabbed a manila file folder and just kind of, if I had to get up and leave my
Well,
desk.
I call that crafty.
Yeah.
That's very wise. So
I-
that's good.
I'm glad the days of wearing a suit every day are over.
Yeah,
was-
they are. All right, back to the weather. So what's your most fearful? What are you most scared of? Between like a hurricane, a tornado, hail, black ice,
A sinkhole.
a sinkhole.
You hear that story a while back? This guy's sitting in his living room. This was in Florida, not in Texas. He's sitting in his living room, and a sinkhole opens up, and he's underground and buried and dead.
Well, that does sound terrible.
That's pretty scary.
Yeah, but what? You're not gonna, you're just making it up.
I'm not making it up.
I get it. In California and Florida.
I
but
will
we don't-
attach the article to the notes in this episode. I swear that's a true
in
story.
Texas today, we don't,
That's my biggest fear: is the Earth's just going to open up and swallow me
What's
up, and y'all won't even. Y'all be like, "What happened to Kevin?" Nobody knows.
in or out. See you on the other side.
Sinkhole opened up and swallowed me up.
Well,
Yeah.
it kind of reminds me of quicksand. Do we have any quicksand here?
I've never encountered quicksand.
No, that's like in the deserts of, I don't know, the Sahara or something.
Near Tampa, where last night the earth opened up, as it does increasingly and thousands of times every year in this country.
Oh, yeah.
This time it swallowed a 37-year-old man as he slept in his home. I'll report tonight from NBC's Gabe Gutierrez.
Oh, that's awfully sad. No need to listen to Gabe. That's awfully sad. So
Could
a
happen.
sinkhole, that's the most, you're the most scared of a sinkhole in Texas.
Well, I kind of know what to do in other situations.
If a
you know?
tornado was bearing down on you, you'd
I
be
know
like,
what to do.
All right.
The tornado's bearing down. We go in that pantry there. We go into any of these. You know what to do. You go into a center of your home where there's no window. We've been taught this growing up our entire lives.
Cat 5 tornado that's a mile wide coming right at you, and you're more scared of a sinkhole.
I am.
Sinkholes are more unpredictable.
That's the
More
dumbest thing I've
unpredictable.
ever heard.
When a tornado's coming, you're going to watch it on the news for 30 minutes. You're going to know. So either
No,
you.
they pop down. Didn't
Nah.
you see Twister? They pop down and they
That's-
come after
that's
you.
just
They-
in the movies, man.
No, they have a personality of their own. They'll come. They'll be like, "There's Kevin. I'm not going to bother Kendra, but I'm going to go after Kevin."
Well,
Name these storms for a reason.
yeah.
I'm telling you, or a hurricane. Yeah, I mean, that thing
Hurricane.
comes right up. It's got kabillions of gallons of water bearing down on you at 400 miles an hour.
That's why I don't live in Houston.
You don't have to live in Houston. You get hammered all along the coast.
That's why I don't live on the coast.
Well, all right.
Probably giant hail. Really, giant hail is pretty scary.
Okay, so we had that. We had that in May. I'm still recovering from it now, 9 months later.
Me too.
So softball size hail. I know people think I'm kidding, but and we were all, my family was over at our house, and we heard it, and it sounded like, and it only lasted for maybe a minute and a half, if that. But it sounded like King Kong was kind of throwing golf balls down on top of my house, because now I have a metal roof, and that didn't help. It exacerbated it. And then we went outside, and I took pictures of it, and actually we scooped up an ice chest full of that stuff, and we had plenty of tennis ball size, golf ball size, but then there were chunks of baseballs and softballs in there, and it's like it just destroyed.
And that was one of the tornado evenings, right? So we were sitting here watching,
Right.
Watching the radar like we do every spring. Sitting around the TV as a family watching the radar.
Right.
And, tornadoes were popping down everywhere. And at one point, it's like, okay, it looks like hail's coming through here. And there was a chance of a tornado, too. I mean, there's
Yeah.
always a chance, too. So I remember we piled in. We piled into our pantry in the middle of our house because that's, when we finally knew, okay, something's really going to hit here. Mm-hmm. Went in there. I think half of us were in the pantry, half of us were in the one of the bathrooms that has no windows, right? But the whole thing is, get in the center of your house where there's no glass, right? So anyway, we get in there. Same thing. It sounded like a train rolling over the house, but I bet it didn't last for, I don't know, 15, 20 seconds. I mean, it was
wow.
pretty fast.
Yeah.
And then we walked out in our entire property, and we've got some pictures too. And we can link the pictures, I guess, to this episode. But yeah, the whole property was covered in, ice cubes of various different sizes.
Yeah.
Some literally as big as softballs.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Did you do like they did in Twister? Did you tie a leather belt around your waist and Kendra's waist in case? And they all held on to a metal pole so that in case the tornado came, y'all would be staying?
Yeah, we always do that, don't you?
Well, yeah. No.
No, of course not.
Oh, well, would have been cool.
I've never seen the movie, so.
Well, go look at it.
In case you haven't noticed, I don't watch a whole lot of movies.
I watch every movie there comes, and I love that movie Twister. It scares the crap out of me.
But you got some serious damage on your property.
Yeah, we did. We did. We
like everything.
Yeah, it just destroyed. And I had a rental car there. It was awful.
Oh, I love the story of you trying to return that rental car.
Oh yeah,
And just nonchalantly,
Well, it was
here's
great.
the keys.
It looked like somebody got a sledgehammer after it. I mean, the whole car. And it was a miracle none of the windows were shattered. They weren't. But every other surface area of that Volvo, it was a Volvo. And I just turned it down. I'm like, well, thanks a lot.
They were like,
great car.
This was great. Thanks a lot. Just start walking away. Excuse me, Mr. Kirkpatrick.
Sir?
What did you do to this vehicle?
I didn't. God threw down a bunch of hail balls. I didn't do anything.
So you had every roof on your property replaced.
Yes.
Multiple vehicles
Yes.
damaged.
Yes. I even had, we got some mosquito stuff, and it looked like somebody went about every 3 inches and cut all the tubing on the mosquito system.
That is crazy. Same
was
thing here.
nuts.
We had roof on the house, roof on our barn, roof on our shed replaced.
Yeah, we thought that it was going to, my daughter about freaked out because she thought it was going to kill the animals. And we had all the horses put up, but the cows were out. And God builds them where those cows know what to do. I told them, well, we don't have any place for them to go under. So they just naturally got under trees or whatever, and they were a little woozy looking. But I'm kidding, they weren't. They looked fine, just kind of dumb, chawing on some cud.
Your chicken coop didn't hold up too well.
No, but amazingly, I only had, I think I had 4 chickens at the time, and that was the little one. And it was like giant shotgun holes through that.
The top of
And
it.
we got out there, and the chickens were in there, and they were doing these ninja moves to avoid these hail balls.
I don't see how they survived because
They
I
did.
saw the roof of that thing.
They did just fine.
Well, when the contractors came out to our property and they're like, the roof on the house is messed up and barn and all this, and then they're like, "Where'd you get that chicken coop out there?" I said, "I built it." And they
Oh, yeah.
said, "You got to be proud of that. There was
is.
no damage to that thing at all." I'm like, "Yeah."
It was solid. That's a solid.
It's the only thing that survived.
telling
Yours is solid now too. Yours
yeah.
would live through a.
Oh, yeah. No, it was a little dented up.
Yours
It was
would
a little dented up.
Yours would live through a. What am I trying to think of? A Wizard of Oz hurricane tornado incident
I don't think so.
where you get picked up and lifted and landed in
I don't think
Oz.
so. Yeah.
That one you built now? That's pretty heavy duty.
The on the trailer, but
Yeah,
the other,
that's what I'm talking about.
well,
the one you got now would.
yeah, but the other one, it'll fly to Kansas. That pallet one that I just built for the cows. it'll be in Kansas.
You're the only person I know that builds a loafing shed.
I build everything out of pallets. You know why? Because they're free. I can get all the pallets I want for free. I don't have to spend any money. Amy made me put some metal. I did.
He did. He's like, "Hey, I built 2 loafing sheds last weekend." I was like, "Wow, that's impressive." He's like, "I built them out of pallets."
Yeah. Yeah. But Amy made me go to Home Depot and get some corrugated metal, and I had to spend $130 on that. Otherwise, it was free. It's
Nice.
just all the pallets you can get. Now I can build pretty much anything out of a pallet.
I know.
So
We should have an episode on that.
well, there you go.
Texas handiwork.
But I'm telling you what, sinkholes are not the worst thing in Texas. We got terrible rain, we got killer heat, those tornadoes and the hurricanes. I'm telling you, the tornadoes and hurricanes are my most feared things, and I don't even live on the coast.
Heat is another one that I fear. I always heard so many stories about people having a heat stroke and just killing over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, heat's bad. If you don't have air conditioning, and we're so accustomed to air conditioning now. So, but yeah, what about we have this other thing, at least in North Texas, we have it a lot. But, it just happened. It skirted around us last week where the black ice hit and the sleet hit, but it hit in East Texas, Central, and then it went all the way down through the Houston area. And they got hammered by it. They were shut down for a week, and they missed us. The clouds kind of, and what happens is it's around freezing. And you get this freezing rain that starts and some sleet that starts that keeps on going, and it just starts piling up. And then it dips down below freezing, and it really just adds to what we call black ice. And that's where you get all this testosterone going with our guys in their trucks and whatnot. And, I got four-wheel drive. I'm like, you got four wheels spinning at the same time. Is all you have. You're just going to spin right into that guardrail. Because ice is ice. People up north, they know how to drive in snow and all that because they deal with it all the time. We don't.
Well, snow's easier to drive in, too.
Yeah.
I've driven up there in snow. It's not that hard.
No, it's doable. But
ice is killer.
Ice is killer.
And I think the worst thing is people that come here from up north assume that driving on the ice here is the same as it is up there.
Yeah.
Those are the people that I think end up in the ditch quite a bit.
I think it's just everybody who's like, I'm good. I know how to drive on ice. No, you don't. Or they're just going 60 miles an hour on a freeway, and then they hit a bridge, and those bridges don't have that underlying kind of firma terra underneath it that are, it's the warmth of the earth that keeps the ice from, forming on but those bridges are just pure concrete, and they stay frozen.
Those overpasses, yeah.
Yeah.
It's brutal.
It is brutal. I'm not really worried about earthquakes, even though I think earthquakes can be bad. And I know our California people, they're very worried about that.
Man, I was in California, and, this was a little scary. Listen to this one. So I flew to California and landed on Monday of last week. And at about 1 a.m., a message pops up on my phone, tsunami warning.
Oh, I got that on Facebook for a Belize thing.
Did you?
Yeah, a major earthquake happened off the coast of Belize, about 90 miles.
That was this week?
This was last week, and they were asking for prayers for the people of Belize.
So this was a tsunami warning for California because an earthquake happened off the coast of Alaska.
Oh, I did see that.
Last Monday.
I did see that.
So I was like, whoa.
Because they were warning Alaskans, Californians, and Russians.
Yeah, and I just happened to fly to California that day.
I'll be. Well,
so
did you make it?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay. Okay.
I just went back to sleep. I thought, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
I don't know what to
Get
do.
up on a higher floor? Bunk in with somebody else?
I was at the Courtyard Marriott. I think it only had 3 levels, and I was on number 3. So,
well, you're probably all right.
Yeah.
You're probably all right. I tell you
It is
what.
fine. Apparently, it only lasted like 10, 15 minutes,
Oh, okay.
the warning. So, I don't know.
All right, so going back to tornadoes. So I think of all tornadoes, in my mind, are the scariest because they're the most unpredictable, and you kind of know when they're coming because what happens is, now these weather guys are trying to predict it. They'll show these seas, you're looking for at the southern base of a strong storm line coming through, and you're looking for these backward seas, and it's like this is where it's going to form in there, and it scares the bejesus out of you when you see that. And so, but if you're just outside looking and watching a storm coming through, it's very creepy, and I've seen this many, many times in my life where these storms will come through and then it gets kind of calm and then it turns green.
Oh, that's the first. That's a huge sign.
And then you're like, this is not good.
I've always heard when it gets really still
Yeah.
and it turns green, like a yellowish greenish color outside.
Yeah.
That's when you know something.
Yeah, you're toast.
You're in danger.
Right.
Yep, for sure. And I think that's maybe where the phrase, the calm comes before the storm.
Uh-huh.
Maybe that's where that expression comes from. I don't know.
Oh, sounds
Yeah.
good.
But you remember that tornado that just hammered Fort Worth back in the
Oh, yeah.
late
Yeah,
90s?
ripped up the Tandy Center and all the others downtown. Yeah.
My dad was in that.
Oh, no.
One of the buildings that got hit was the Cash America headquarters building. I mean, hit head on.
Oh, wow. Well, there were a lot of buildings in downtown Fort Worth that got torn up.
Yeah, it went hit that, went all the way through. My dad was in that building, and it's time to go home. Steps out. Huge wind. I mean, it was literally on him.
Oh my goodness.
So he either gets blown back in or goes back in, and he said it just sounded like,
Right.
the building was being bombed. And that building was hammered hard. Mm-hmm. I think they had to move to a temporary building for quite a while to rebuild all that. And it's just lucky that he lived through it.
That's right.
I mean,
that's terrible.
It's crazy.
Well, all through this tornado alley, there's a lot of people with storm cellars, and those are some of the scariest things in the world. We used to have a storm cellar at my grandparents' place in Oklahoma, and it was probably the scariest place in the world. I would never go in it unless it was literally the worst.
Did it have like the big counterweight on the door and all that stuff?
Yeah, and you'd go in there and you're like, okay, back to your water moccasins. I just thought there's a billion snakes down in there, and they're going to kill me if I walk in that.
Yeah. Kendra's dad's place in Decatur had one of those.
Yeah.
You remember that, Andrew? Yeah.
Oh, no. I don't want to go in there.
We don't have those anymore. They don't build them anymore.
They're a lot more common than you think.
I don't remember.
On new houses?
No, just throughout kind of the farms up through the Midwest.
Yeah.
Kind of like Moore, Oklahoma it's just south of Oklahoma City. It's an epicenter for tornadoes. I mean, if you look, and then there's a lot of the major cities through this tornado alley that measure their history based on when a great tornado came through, like Waco, Texas. One came through and destroyed the town, just like the Chicago fire. I mean, you kind of mark history points on
Wichita Falls, Texas.
That's right.
Remember that one?
Destroyed the city. That
Wichita Falls tornado, when I was a kid, I think that was in the 70s, maybe 70s or 80s. But we had family up there, and I think that tornado was a mile wide. 1 mile wide.
Yeah. That's one of those. That's what I'm talking about. One of those Cat 5, 1 mile wide tornadoes. That, if we're sitting in the closet here, it's just going to carry us off.
You're toast. Yeah.
See you on the other side. So anyway, we talked for a few minutes. I was just wondering how's the weather.
The weather is still nice, believe it or not.
It's beautiful.
Well, I hadn't stepped out there, but
no, it's beautiful.
No, literally, wasn't it like 6 degrees here?
A couple of days ago.
No, like last week.
Last week it got down.
It got down to 6
in the single digits.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and then it's in the 50s.
Yeah, it's beautiful outside.
Beautiful.
Right now. Yeah, I'm gonna go home and drag some manure.
That sounds appetizing.
I'm just saying, I got all those animals, and like I told you in the first one, they poop a lot. I got to go drag it.
Poop's good. I need to drag mine. I hadn't dragged mine in a while.
Yeah, it's not something.
That is therapeutic.
It can be.
Yeah, we talked in a previous episode about being able to disconnect. That's one way to disconnect.
I do.
Go hop on a tractor and drag some manure.
Yeah, I do this same. So I built this small little arena for my daughter to ride horses in, and I get on my tractor and I drag that arena. And to me, that's therapeutic, getting on my John Deere tractor and dragging the arena. I just love that. That doesn't have anything to do with weather, unless, of course, it's raining or tornadoes coming down. Then I'm not dragging. I'm just,
Well, I think your thought was the weather's so nice today, you're going to get out and drag some manure.
I'm going to go try.
Yeah.
Unless I've got another honey-do list of
nothing
things
better
to
to do when it's blue skies.
Yeah.
It's vitamin D.
Shining on me.
Nothing but blue skies and vitamin D.
I tell you, I do love Willie. But anyway, I thought that's what you're quoting right off the bat. It's Willie's Blue Skies song. It's one of my dad's favorite songs. I used to listen to the 8-track of Willie.
I've been listening a lot to, did you ever listen to that song Poncho and Lefty?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So in our research on Texas legends, I actually found the guy who wrote that.
Poncho and Lefty.
The guy who wrote it is actually a guy from Fort Worth.
Well, it's a great story.
It's a great story, and the guy who wrote it is like a genius. He's not alive anymore.
Huh.
He was related. Have you ever heard of Van Zant County?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so he comes from that Van Zant family.
Huh.
Anyway, We'll have to do an episode on that sometime.
And Willie just sings that by himself, right?
No, that's with Merle Haggard.
He does have Merle. Okay.
He has Merle on that.
Yeah, no. That again, back to the 8
Pancho
tracks.
and Lefty.
I used to have to change out all the 8 tracks on the drive up to Oklahoma.
The 8-track was awesome. I'm waiting for those to come back.
They're not. They're not going to.
I love the 8-track.
It was a total pain because you couldn't fast forward it, you couldn't reverse it. You just had to listen to it all the way through.
Well, you could punch across tracks, and would you have like 2 songs per track usually? Is that why they call it an 8-track, 4 times 2?
Yeah, but I thought you just had to listen to it and then you reversed it. You could listen to the other side.
No, you don't reverse an 8-track. You reverse a cassette.
No. Maybe that's why I screwed up our 8-track machine.
When I was in middle school, I asked for a stereo for Christmas.
Oh.
And I'm like, I want one with an 8-track. I remember my dad was like, I'm not getting you an 8-track. Cassettes are the future.
Oh.
I'm like, I want an 8-track.
He was a visionary.
I want an 8-track.
Yep.
And sure enough, I got the 8-track.
Man, I'd like to see you try to find some 8-tracks today.
Oh, I bet you can find them.
I don't want to listen to them. It's total pain. I don't care if it is Willie. I don't want to listen to it.
That's blasphemy.
Sorry, Willie.
That is Texas
I'll
blasphemy.
just pull you up on iTunes and listen away to Pancho and Lefty.
I was listening to Jimmy Rogers on my watch yesterday.
Oh.
I sent my dad a picture. I was like, can you believe that
High-fangled.
listen to Jimmy Rogers on a watch?
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
That actually is pretty cool. It's
pretty cool.
You can talk on those watches now.
Yeah.
I don't have one, but Amy showed me. She was talking to me the other day on her watch. Very Star Trekian. Give me all the power she's got. Anyway.
All right. Very good.
All right. Well, that's weather talk today. So, hey, thanks for listening. Give us some ideas if you can, and give us some reviews. And we appreciate you listening to our podcast. So, have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.
Adios.
All right, well, let's start off. Well, what kind of weather phenomena have you seen here in Texas?
Everything,
Yeah.
especially in the Dallas area. We get it all.
Man,
Are you
big sneeze.
spreading flu
Yeah, just
throughout the household?
blew flu all over this mic.
Thank you.
I'm Johnny Cash.
Yeah. Here, you got to taste that.
I don't want any of that.
No.
No, I really
It's
don't.
the best thing you ever ate.
No. I'm talking especially close to the microphone right now.
What is the...
I think I'll sing a little song.
Yeah, if you're gonna eat, you can't eat into the microphone.
What?
You ever heard that song by Bing Crosby? Malakaliki stuff.